You are a wanted war criminal. I'm here to see that those wishes are carried out.
And how exactly do you plan on carrying that out? Drink that whiskey, boy.
The Outlaws believed burying this new lawman in a shallow grave would be the end of him. What they didn't realize was that they had buried one of the deadliest military trackers ever alive. And now, he's hunting them all. This story takes place in Badland. In the year 1890, America is harsh and lawless, still scarred by the aftermath of the Civil War. We're introduced to U.S. Marshal Mathias Breecher, a hardened lawman riding across the Mississippi frontier on his trusted horse. His destination is a remote farm, the stronghold of a man known as General Corbin. Once a powerful Confederate commander, Corbin has long since abandoned any sense of honor. Now he leads a gang of ruthless outlaws, carrying out robberies and murdering innocent people without mercy. When Mathias rides onto the property, Corbin confronts him, demanding to know why an armed stranger has trespassed on his land. Mathias remains calm. He identifies himself as a U.S. Marshal and presents his badge along with an official warrant. The document states clearly that Corbin is a wanted war criminal, responsible for horrific acts during the Civil War. The Department of Justice has sentenced him to death by hanging, and Mathias has been sent to carry out the arrest. Mathias gives Corbin a final choice: surrender peacefully or face deadly force. Corbin isn't intimidated. He scoffs at the warrant, insisting his actions during the war were justified. Confident in his armed men and surrounded by guns, Corbin pulls his pistol and threatens to kill Mathias, promising to hang his body from a tree. Mockingly, he even offers the marshal a final drink before ending his life. Corbin makes one fatal mistake. He completely misjudges the man standing in front of him. Mathias Breecher isn't just another lawman. He is a legendary shooter, faster than anyone can react. In the blink of an eye, Mathias draws his weapon and fires. In a single moment, all four outlaws drop dead. None of them even manage to pull their guns. With the danger eliminated, Mathias calmly reviews his list of targets and continues his mission. While on the road, he stops to send a telegram to his commanding officer, Senator Benjamin, the first black senator in American history. In the message, Mathias explains that he offered General Corbin every opportunity to surrender peacefully. Corbin refused and chose violence, leaving Mathias no alternative but to kill him and his men. The message ends with Mathias stating that he is now heading toward his next assignment. Back in the city, the senator's aide questions the decision to send Mathias on such a deadly mission. He wonders why this task was given to him alone. Senator Benjamin answers without hesitation. These war criminals will never confess or accept responsibility for their crimes. They see their atrocities as justified acts of war. They will never willingly walk to the gallows. Mathias exists for this reason alone. He is the only man capable of confronting them in the one language they understand: force. As Mathias continues riding through the frontier, he encounters a hardened tracker and bounty hunter named Harlan. The man is clearly irritated. He complains that lawmen like Mathias are ruining his livelihood. By killing high-value criminals such as General Corbin without collecting bounties, Mathias is removing potential payouts that hunters depend on. These war criminals carry enormous rewards, and if the government keeps sending men like Mathias to execute them outright, bounty hunters will have nothing left to chase. Mathias isn't persuaded. He tells Harlan that money isn't his motivation. He serves the law and carries out his duty for the salary he's given. Harlan takes offense to this response. Before leaving, he issues a clear threat. If Mathias steps in on another target that Harlan is pursuing in this territory, blood will be spilled. The two men part ways, leaving the encounter heavy with tension. The following morning, Mathias continues his mission. He travels from place to place, questioning locals as he searches for his next target, Major Reginald Cook. Cook's crimes are especially horrific. During the war, he allegedly ordered the complete destruction of an entire village, burning everyone inside alive. After days of tracking, Mathias finally discovers a remote farm on the edge of town. Outside the house, he comes upon Sarah, Major Cook's daughter. She stands her ground with a shotgun aimed at 3 local thugs who are attempting to bully her into surrendering her land. When they notice a U.S. Marshal approaching, the men immediately retreat, abandoning their intimidation. Sarah immediately swings the shotgun toward Mathias, clearly wary of any stranger approaching her home. Mathias calmly raises his hands and explains that he isn't there to threaten her or take her land. He tells her he only wants to speak with her father, Major Reginald Cook. Realizing that Mathias poses no immediate danger, Sarah lowers her weapon and allows him inside the house. As they talk, Mathias learns the grim reality of the situation. Major Reginald is no longer the powerful officer he once was. He is gravely ill, suffering from pneumonia that developed after a severe fever. Without proper medical care, his condition has worsened, and he doesn't have much time left. For the moment, Mathias keeps his true purpose hidden from Sarah. When Mathias finally meets the Major face to face, he sees just how frail and exhausted the man has become. He presents his marshal badge and the official warrant issued by the Department of Justice. Unlike General Corbin, Reginald offers no resistance. He openly admits to the crimes he committed during the war and accepts responsibility for them. Still, he makes one final request. He asks Mathias not to take him away to be executed, explaining that death is already close and he likely has only weeks to live. Seeing the man's condition, Mathias makes an uncommon decision. Instead of carrying out the arrest immediately, he chooses to remain at the farm for several days, allowing Reginald to pass naturally while serving as an official witness. Sarah arranges for Mathias to sleep in the barn during his stay. During the days that follow, a quiet connection forms between Mathias and Sarah, despite the reason he originally came to the farm. Mathias helps her with the exhausting daily work, easing the burden she has been carrying alone. Through these conversations, he learns that a local landowner named Fred has been targeting her property. Fred and his men have repeatedly harassed the family, hoping to force them off the land. Knowing that Major Reginald is far too ill to protect his daughter, Mathias decides to intervene. He rides directly to Fred's estate and offers him a reasonable amount of money, asking him to stop harassing Sarah and her dying father. Fred refuses outright. Arrogant and prideful, he claims money means nothing to him. Instead, he proposes a different solution, a brutal fistfight. If Mathias can defeat his strongest fighter, Fred will permanently leave the Cook family alone. Mathias accepts the challenge. The opponent towers over him and quickly overwhelms him with raw strength, knocking him hard to the ground. Refusing to stay down, Mathias regains his footing, grabs an iron bucket nearby, and uses it strategically. With precise and relentless blows, he turns the fight around and drops the massive man to his knees in front of Fred. Defeated and humiliated, Fred has no choice but to honor the agreement. Mathias then rides back to the farm, victorious. When Mathias returns, Sarah immediately notices his bruised hands and battered face. She understands what he did without him saying a word. He fought for her and risked himself to protect her home. Touched by his sacrifice, she gently cleans his wounds with warm water. The unspoken feelings between them finally surface, turning into a brief but genuine romance. For the first time in a long while, Mathias experiences a moment of peace. That peace doesn't last. Early the next morning, Fred breaks his promise. He storms onto the farm with 3 armed men, planning to seize the land by force. Mathias responds without hesitation, killing one attacker and injuring the others. Sarah runs outside with her shotgun and joins the fight. Despite his failing health, Major Reginald staggers out of the house with his revolver, determined to defend his daughter one final time. Amid the chaos, Fred fires his weapon, striking Reginald directly in the chest. Witnessing this, Mathias completely snaps. He unloads his gun into Fred, killing him on the spot and permanently ending his threat. Sarah collapses beside her father, crying as he takes his final breath. Mathias stays with Sarah through the aftermath. He builds a solid wooden coffin with his own hands and helps her bury her father on the very land Reginald gave his life to defend. The moment is heavy and quiet. After the burial, Mathias explains that he cannot remain there. His mission is unfinished, and another target awaits him in New Mexico. The two share a painful farewell, knowing this goodbye may be permanent. Mathias mounts his horse and rides away, leaving behind a part of himself. Weeks later, Mathias arrives in a dry, dusty town in New Mexico. His next target is a man called Captain Huxley. He takes a room at a local hotel, which also serves as a brothel where young women are forced into prostitution. The place is run by a woman named Alice, a kind-hearted owner trapped in a cruel and dangerous situation. When a corrupt local police officer starts harassing Alice and the women, Mathias steps in without hesitation. He snaps the officer's wrist and fires a shot through his hand, sending a clear warning. The disturbance quickly draws the sheriff and several deputies to the scene. Mathias lowers his weapon, but his focus sharpens when he gets a clear look at the sheriff. To his realization, the man wearing the badge is Captain Huxley himself, the very war criminal Mathias has been hunting. Huxley now controls the law in this town, making a legal arrest impossible. The sheriff calms the situation, and Mathias hides his true intentions, pretending to be nothing more than a traveler passing through. That night, Alice secretly enters Mathias's room. She urgently pleads with him to leave town, warning that Huxley is a brutal man who controls the prostitution ring and will retaliate for what happened earlier. Hearing this, Mathias finally reveals the truth. He tells her he is a U.S. Marshal tasked with bringing Huxley to justice for his war crimes. He assures her that Huxley's control over the town is coming to an end. Alice leaves, holding onto a small sense of hope. But the following morning, Huxley's men strike first. They ambush Mathias while he sleeps, beating him unconscious before dragging him to the town jail. When Mathias regains consciousness, he finds himself tied to a chair, directly facing Huxley. The captain has already discovered his marshal badge and official papers. He taunts Mathias, but Mathias fires back, telling him he has no right to wear a uniform. Angered by the defiance, Huxley orders his men to torture Mathias while Alice is forced to watch. Afterward, Huxley decides that killing him quickly would be too merciful. Instead, he commands his men to take the unconscious marshal beyond the city limits and bury him alive. The men dig a deep hole, preparing to bury Mathias alive. As one of them reaches into his pocket to steal his badge and money, Mathias suddenly comes to life. He grabs the man's gun and instantly kills both attackers. Their bodies fall straight into the grave they had just finished digging. Injured and bleeding badly, Mathias drags himself back toward the town. He slips into a church where Alice is inside praying. He hides there, using the quiet space to rest and recover. Alice later returns in secret, bringing him his weapons and equipment so he can prepare for what comes next. At sunrise the next day, Mathias steps out from hiding, restored and focused. He charges into Alice's bar and immediately opens fire on Huxley's corrupt deputies. Gunshots echo through the streets as a full-scale shootout breaks out. Mathias moves swiftly and precisely, eliminating the officers one after another. At one point, a panicked deputy seizes a young girl and uses her as a shield. Without hesitation, Mathias fires a single, accurate shot, killing the man and saving the child. When Huxley finally emerges from his office, he finds himself completely alone. His entire force has been destroyed, and the townspeople watch as he stands exposed and defeated. Huxley claims that he is every bit as fast as Mathias and dares him to settle things with a traditional quick-draw duel. The rules are clear. Whoever draws and fires first survives. They face each other in the middle of the street. As the church bell rings out, both men reach for their guns at the same moment. 2 shots explode almost simultaneously. Mathias's bullet strikes Huxley square in the chest, killing him instantly. But Huxley manages to fire as well, and his shot hits Mathias in the stomach. Despite the pain tearing through his body, Mathias forces himself to walk over to Huxley's corpse. He tears the sheriff's badge off the dead man's chest and places it into Alice's hand. He tells her that the city now belongs to her. Holding his wounded side, Mathias mounts his horse and rides away into the open desert. He continues forward until his strength finally gives out. Unable to go any farther, he stops to tend to his injury. Weak and exhausted, he slowly fades, believing his journey may finally be over. Out of nowhere, the bounty hunter Harlan arrives. Seeing Mathias in his weakened state, Mathias tells him that he is done with this life and is walking away for good. As a final act, Mathias hands Harlan the official government documents tied to Huxley's bounty. He tells him to collect the body and take the reward. For the first time, Harlan shows genuine respect. He thanks Mathias and rides away. Using the last bit of strength he has left, Mathias turns his horse in the direction of Mississippi. After a long and painful journey, he finally reaches Sarah's farm. As he nears the house, his body gives out and he falls from the saddle. Sarah rushes toward him immediately, her face filled with relief and happiness as she realizes he has returned. And that is how it ended. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this. And you can find this movie in the description below or our comment section. Thanks for watching.